AI news, AI news. Tons of AI news. It's never ending.
What are you trying to say?
There's a lot of AI news.
Yeah, there is, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with this now, aren't we? Gemini, ChatGPT. There is so much news that we've got going on today. Well, over the last week. I don't know. Where do you want to start? You want to start with? Let's start with ChatGPT's stuff. They got a new image model, and that's probably the smallest of the news, but it's probably the most exciting of what it is right now.
Yeah.
I got to look over for a second while I'm actually looking at it. Their new image model. What's it called again?
2.0.
Sorry. Yeah, it's exciting. 2.0.
Yeah, they just call it Image 2.0.
Well, they couldn't have called it something like, Kumquat or
Look, they have brilliant minds developing ChatGPT, but they can't come up with a good name.
Yeah. I had this in front of me, and I'm embarrassed to say that for some reason I can't find it all of a sudden. There it is. ChatGPT Images 2.0. Yes, right. Which, by the way, I have seen some demonstrations of it. I've tried a little bit of it. I don't have the pro version, so there's only so much that I can get out of it that's going to supposedly look better. But one thing I did notice was, even if you're not getting the better stuff because you're not a paid user, it has this issue in where it kind of messes up the photo a little bit, because it keeps rethinking the photo. And this is where it's supposed to be better, and supposedly the Nano Banana Killer. Huge air quotes there.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you redo the same digital picture over and over again, you have a degradation. But it tries to fix the degradation by just replacing the pixels back, and you get this really wonky look. Have you tried it at all yet?
No, I haven't had a chance.
Oh my. But it has the ability to make amazing pictures if you can get it right, get your prompts right out of the box. Since we're going to say that, perhaps a little segue, Robert?
Yeah, because if you want to learn how to prompt properly, you need to come over to Simple AI Life. We have an amazing community. We have a lot of free content. Go check out the YouTube channel. And that is going to be YouTube/@Simple AI Life. Our Stan store is stan.store/Simple AI Life. Lots of free content there. And come check out the community, because that's what it's all about. We're teaching people how to properly use the chat models, so that way you don't get frustrated and give up, because a lot of people do that.
That is right. And if you do it right, you can easily make a T-Rex attacking the Bridgestone Arena.
Yes.
Well, it was on its way there. It didn't get there.
Yes.
But hey, just to be fair, it also headed over to Winnipeg right after.
I saw that. He's a bottom feeder.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that what I found that is, I didn't even show you the one I did in ChatGPT because it did not look good, and I was disappointed with it. However, it is possible that I was looking at the first iteration of the model coming into the free users, and it's not as good as if you're a paid user. But this is the bonus of Nano Banana. Gemini doesn't make you pay for anything at all to get good results. You just do get better results if you're a paid user.
Right.
But chances are you're going to be a paid user of something else and get that as a bonus. You want the AI stuff, or you want more storage, or you want both. And you end up getting all of these other great things, the Nano Banana Pro, the Nano Banana 2.
And let me mention that if you want the extra storage, they recently just increased from 2 terabytes to 5 terabytes for the same price.
That's correct.
You're getting more than double the space.
I couldn't be happier. See.
Yeah.
I keep saying every time, so, oh, but you might run out soon, and you might run out. I said, but you don't understand. By the time you get to the point where you're probably getting into 50, 80, 90%, it's probably going to actually, for the same price, be doubled or more. And that's happened because I remember when I had 15 gigabytes for free, and then I started paying $3 for two. Oh no, I had, well, yeah, 2 gigabytes. Or no, it actually jumped up to 2 gigabytes, right? It was 15 gigabytes, 15 gigabytes, and then whatever it was after that. And it was like $3. And then it said, okay, well, it's going to be $5 now, but it's going to be more than double what you were getting
Yeah.
before. And over the years, the price has gone up very little in comparison.
Yeah.
But I mean, now we're talking about 5 terabytes for, uh, I don't even remember what I'm paying.
It's like
under $20, right?
yeah, well, US is like $19 a month or something
Oh,
like
so
that.
4 million for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's close to the same price because I think when Google does with their services, they only add a little bit. They basically add less than what the actual dollar value difference is, and they go by not a logarithmic thing. I can't remember the right word
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
but it's more of a fair pricing
Good.
than you would get from hardware, for instance. Cost me way more to buy a phone here than it would for you to buy the same phone there.
Yeah.
But the services from Google or Apple or whatever are actually relatively comparative considering the price or the dollar difference.
Yeah. And the nice thing for
way
those,
off topic.
for those of you who have families is you can share that with your family. So like I have all my
Yeah.
family's devices backed up and everything, and I just don't have to worry about any space. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's great, eh? And I actually had forgotten about the 5 terabyte or 3 terabyte bump up.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it. So I feel a lot better about that now. It's like, but the thing is I still hadn't used a terabyte in the thousands and thousands of pictures and videos that I have on there,
Yeah.
and documents and everything else, and all the emails. But I remember when I first went from 15 to 100, 15 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes was the first big jump. And 100 gigabytes was the $3. I remember that now. And then they jumped that up to $5, but it was 200 gigabytes.
Yeah, I do remember.
And then from there they just said, okay, we now offer 1 terabyte, and I think it was $9.99 at the time. And then the 2 terabyte thing just popped up a couple of years ago. I want to say a few years ago. I think it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been longer than 2 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4 maybe. And so it's long enough. Basically, you're looking at between 3 and 5 years, and they will anywhere from 40% to 100% more space for either the same money or very little more. But they'll also usually give you another option within the same range of what you already have for less money, which is what they now do. So you can actually go all the way back down to a couple of 100 gigabytes for like $5 or something like that. For those who really just want it for email and a few documents.
Yeah.
So that's all great, and that's not today's news. This is going back a while, but it's still pretty good. So as for other Chat GPT stuff, they have they're working on their biggest new model, which they are now saying should be pushing Gemini hard. Like they're banging on the door. But I can't remember what they call it. What is it? 6?
Well,
6.0?
No one knows yet because it's not official, but
Right.
the inside rumors are 6. Some say it might come out as 5 point something, but they might just go ahead and make the jump to 6 because according to these insiders that are pretty reliable, it's a significant jump over what they're currently doing. And yes, it's supposed to really challenge some of Google's dominance that they've taken over when ChatGPT kind of flopped on 5.2. And when Gemini came out with 3.0, it really leveled the playing field, if not put it in Google's favor. But remember, I heard rumors in I.O. Google could be releasing 4.0 and Veo 4.0. So
right.
That could be like a giant leap up from what they're now. So who knows?
Well, I this is going to be. I can't wait till next month. Things are going to happen, and by the way, there's a lot of thought going into that. Google I.O. is where they're going to finally tell us, yes, you're going to get your memory feature in the live version of Gemini on your devices, and potentially also in your Gemini for home. Meaning, no more of this stuff about the continued conversation, which is now rolling out to everybody, by the way, and I do have it already. And it is better that way, but it's still kind of garbagey, because if you ask it anything that doesn't have to do with the time, the next bus that's coming, how much gas costs in the city right now, or something like that, then it doesn't know what you're talking. And it says, "Oh, I can't really answer that question because I'm a retard." I can't say that. Sorry. I'll edit that part out. But anyways, I'm not happy with it. I've been very vocal about that since day one. So when that thing does actually have the memory feature in Gemini for Live, and of course on the phones and everything else, that's going to be a game changer. I use it as my assistant, and to be able to just have it sitting on the desk and just basically launch it, and then have it help me work through whatever it is I need to work through right there. That's great. And the fact of the matter is, because of the memory, you can switch devices. You can use them both at the same time. I often do that on my computer, where because I can talk to it and get the audible feedback on the phone, I'll be doing that, and I'll just refresh the page so I can actually hit the links on the computer and do what I need to do. Yeah. And it's great. I love it. So yeah, Google I.O. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, some of the insiders I listen to on the podcast say that they feel like if ChatGPT or OpenAI allow next month to come around and I.O. to come out, and they launch 4.0 and they have not come out with their newest model, it's really going to be a bad look. And they feel like that OpenAI is going to have a really hard time recovering from that, because just the optics of it, like you can't compete, are going to show up. And that now Google's just running away with the train. So,
well, apparently they've raised a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
And of course they got a government contract. So they're set for a while. Well, so they actually have money to burn, believe it or not, for the first time in their entire history. But even with that said, they've never made a dime. It's going to be 2028, I think they said, before they make any money. That's what I heard. And their new model is now going into, they're making money off advertising, right?
Yes.
So in their new model, they're saying they're not going to actually be in profit until, I think they said 2028 or 2029. Because that's how much they have to make up for it. But the bottom line is the model should work, provided what you said doesn't happen. If they screw it up and drop the ball and they fall that far behind, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, optics are everything. So I mean, you start looking like you can't do something, people assume that you are faltering. And keep in mind, they killed Sora because they wanted all that compute power back into ChatGPT. Because I forget how much compute power they're just consuming tons of compute power. Yeah. I heard they were burning $1 million a day with Sora.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. The company's basically been in debt since the day they opened it up.
Yeah.
Because they just basically said, well, we're going to borrow some money and start this thing and get ahead of Gemini with Gemini's own code. And they did a great job. They really did. But unfortunately, they didn't have a business model that made them money.
Right.
So, and I understand why they did what they did and the way they did it. But in reality, they really should have thought about doing it a little differently to get some income. But their new model will work, and it's going to piss off some people. It will. But the bottom line is, specifically for the higher paid users, I don't think they're going to have to worry about all that stuff.
No.
It's just going to be free users and lower tiered users for the most part. Uh,
Yeah.
but that kind of thing shouldn't bother most people if they're just trying to hear responses, uh, have it make pictures or whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
For coding and stuff, I would still suggest, honestly, depending on how serious the coding is, it can do a good job. Gemini also can. But if you're really serious into coding, then you need to use, what is it, Claude?
Yeah,
I believe
I was
so.
about to say the
Yeah.
Anthropic Claude. We can't forget that because they just recently came out with 4.7, which
Yes.
has been stellar for coding and technical tasks like that. Again, it's not really the picture agent like Gemini and
Yeah.
ChatGPT is, but it excels in the coding aspect of it. That's why they have
Well,
it for
here's
co-work.
the thing right now. Um, Reports from April 17th, and unfortunately, I don't see the citation on this. Thank you very much, Gemini. Uh, Suggests the industry has hit a temporary capability ceiling. But honestly, I
What?
see it every day because it's been like this since early March, late February. I want to say. I could be a little off on that, but reasoning current leader ChatGPT 5.4 thinking slash Gemini 3.1 Pro. BS. Gemini does it better. I'm sorry. It does.
I think so too.
But it's not a landslide difference
Right.
because that's the thinking versus the pro version. If you talk about the average thinking Gemini or the fast version of either, Gemini is miles ahead. And yes, it hallucinates, but not quite as much as ChatGPT does. And the regular ChatGPT can't figure out how to tell the time. Ask a lot of YouTubers are all over that. Gemini actually does do it.
Yeah.
People claim it doesn't, but it 3.1 does. The previous version didn't do it. I'm talking about an analog clock, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Claude, I think it does. Yeah, no, it's a Grok. Grok has no problem reading clock, apparently.
No,
Grok is clock.
I always forget about Grok. Honestly, I don't use it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've played around with
Yeah,
it,
no,
but
they're gone to me. I don't care anymore. They ruined it when they decided not to have it be so bad. But anyways, so as for saying that the benchmarks have plateaued since February. There you go, February 2026, and you can see that, right? Everybody's basically jumped out with their models. Gemini had their stuff come out. ChatGPT had their stuff come out. And basically you're not really seeing a lot of growth in there right now. Just a lot of them. They're all trying to push ahead with the next big thing. As for coding, Claude, we already mentioned 4.7 Opus retains a slight edge in complex agentic coding. Now, this is the key. Prior to February, they already had a huge edge in their previous model. When they put that out, they had an even bigger edge. But since Gemini 3.1 and ChatGPT 5.4, it's not as big a lead as people think. It's more capable. So in the long run, you're going to get a better result and it'll save you time. But it technically it's only like this much. So I don't know how ChatGPT's new model comes out when it does or how soon it will. But if Google does come out with 4.0 or at least announce it at Google I.O., I think you might see a model that is actually capable of challenging Claude for that title.
yeah. Well,
So,
interestingly enough, I've been doing some vibe coding for my wife for an app for her office. It actually is
right.
pretty nice. It's been pretty fun. Emergent is the company, and they're fairly new, but they're doing a phenomenal job. There's been a few like issues where one time they're because see, here's one nice thing about them is that you have one key that they do all the back end integration with Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT. You don't have to have all these separate connections. You have one connection, which is nice. But so I can use Opus 4.7 in my vibe coding. And my wife's app is a transcription app. So it has to listen to conversation. Well, Opus
Oh,
does
okay.
not do a very good job with text to speech, or sorry, speech to text, right? So it uses
Right.
OpenAI Whisper for that conversion. So it uses multiple components within, like it has access to, again, Gemini, OpenAI, and
Right.
Anthropic. So it's actually works really well, and it's, you know, you can even say like I've been dealing with this one problem. This hasn't been like catastrophic, but I'm like, the other day I was like, look, you got to fix this, and you have to fix this now because it's irritating my users. Is there a different solution that we need to come up with?
Yeah.
And it like tells you like, oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a real, you know, hassle. I can understand that. Let me come up with, and it came up with, he was like, how about this solution? And he came with a solution. I was like, let's try it. It worked perfect today. No problem. So I'm like, there you go. You know, so yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's just so much like and like I said, I call my Gemini my assistant. When because I call upon it daily for, you know, it's not just how's the weather, or what time is the bus coming or something like that. I use it for a whole bunch of stuff when I'm working on a project on in DaVinci Resolve, editing a video, trying to do some color grading or whatever, and I stumble across something. I'm using a new beta version of it, for instance, and I just got myself a new Wacom tablet, or Wacom, however you pronounce it. I really don't know. And I said, you know, I'm like, okay, well, there's certain things that I need to do, and you know, they don't have the greatest uh, instructions on how to do things. People saying, oh, it's going to take you a week to figure it out. I've already figured it out because I asked Gemini.
Yeah.
We went over it while I was doing it, and I don't know. I thought they were supposed to do live screen share on your computer by now. Didn't they say they were going to do that?
I don't remember that. I mean, obviously I remember doing the mobile stuff, but I don't ever remember them saying anything about the computer
Yeah, they
because
claimed last year that live Gemini live screen share was coming to your computer, and blah blah. And it's been like a year, so
huh.
I think they missed that one. You know, but it would be nice. I wouldn't mind. It would be kind of nice if you could do that. You know, because I'd love to be able to open Gemini up and say, okay, I'm trying to work with this. Please guide me through this
Yeah.
in the live version, right? And then it could talk. But I guess the problem is that they haven't added an audible return uh, on Gemini on the computer at this time. You have to type and read. Well, you can dictate and read,
Yeah.
dictate and read. You can have it read it back, but it's not Gemini talking to you. It's just text to speech. It's
Right.
not the same thing. So hopefully they add that shortly after going with Gemini 4.0. And once it has agentic abilities, you'd think that that would be the next logical step. Especially if it's like, I need you to do this, that, and this is the schedule I need. And then you get back onto it. Okay, I see you've done that, but I need you to fix that now. Please ask me some questions. How's that going to work if you're busy doing this, but you want to be able to hear it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I just got to thinking, I'm kind of stepping back just a second about, you know, Gemini versus Chat GPT. In
Yeah,
my opinion, Chat GPT will never equal Gemini for one reason, and that's integration with ecosystem. You know,
right.
here recently, since Google has been rolling out Gemini in so many different things, I've been using it in my Google Maps. I use it in my car now because my Android Auto has it. I hit the button and it says, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I said, "Hey, text my wife that I'm going to be a little late." Okay, here it is. Do you want to send it? Yeah. Okay, thanks. And you can carry on a conversation in the car with Gemini. So, you know, my phone, my computer, like I was in Chrome the other day and I'm like, how am I? I was like, oh man, I can't figure this out. I was like, wait a minute. I got Gemini right here. As I just clicked the button, I said, "Hey, what does this mean?" And it looked at the screen. It's like, "Oh, it means blah blah blah. You got to do this, this, and this." I'm like, "Oh, thanks," and it solved my problem. So
Right.
ChatGPT will never have that kind of integration, and I think that's where Google's always going to have the upper hand. And as long as they stay consistent and current and don't shit the bed on actually making it work right, it's going to be hard to surpass it. There might be certain aspects of the AI functionality with pictures or I don't know, coding or video or whatever that ChatGPT might
Yeah.
do better. But as a whole, and you're like in an ecosystem, it's unmatched.
I absolutely agree. But there is something else that let's see if well, now it doesn't want to work. Oh, there we go. Uh, yeah, I'm looking at one screen and it's got sitting backwards, and I'm like, oh no, please don't be like that. No, anyways, WDC 26. Why am I talking about Apple? Because that's the day they should be announcing the new Siri, and when we're going to see the new Siri on the Apple devices that will actually be powered by Gemini.
Yeah, that's another. I forgot about that. That's another huge thing.
So yeah, and that's coming up. When is that date again? June 8th to 12th. So the keynote will obviously be on the 8th. So that's something I'm actually going to want to watch. First Apple event I've wanted to watch in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be paying close attention to that. And the great news about that is that this is after Google announces. And here's the thing. This is one reason why I and many other people believe that Gemini 4.0 is going to be a massive leap and be way ahead, have more agentic capabilities. Because why would they give Apple, even for $1 million a year? Is it a million? $1 billion, sorry.
That's $1 billion.
$1 billion a year. $1 million is nothing. $1 billion. $1 billion a year to let them actually completely outdo them. Like, oh, we're going to give you the best model, but we're going to keep the crap for ourselves. I don't think so. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Google push this out so that you and I have this ability to have this prior to Apple actually giving all their iPhone users. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're an iPhone user, you're going to have a bit of an advantage in some ways because Siri is still going to be Siri, a new Siri, mind you, that has all the abilities of tapping into Gemini, but they're going to overwrite. It's kind of like having Android with Tizen on top of it. Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Oh.
You don't want Tizen on it. But
I wonder how much device control they're going to give it. If it's going to have the same kind of device control.
Absolutely tons.
Yeah.
Tons. Siri has always, not always, but Siri has for a long time had the ability to do almost anything you ask.
But that's in their closed environment. That's not with the Gemini side of things.
But it doesn't need Gemini to do it. That's the point. For the stuff that's involved specifically on device, Siri will do that internally. They may write, and keep in mind, the Gemini that they're using, the model of Gemini won't technically be Gemini as we know it.
Right.
It's an internal model. It's the same type of, you can do this on your own computer right now. You can actually install versions of Gemini on your computer to get it to do agentic stuff locally on your computer. Doesn't need to call the internet, none of that. It's yours, it's private, and you can program it to do whatever you want it to do on your computer. This is kind of what they're doing, but Google's making a souped up top of the line version for them, and they're working with them so that Siri can basically tap into it with it being seamless. Unlike what it's doing right now, where it needs information, it goes to ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives it the information, then it spits it out. Instead, what you're going to hear is like having another brain in the back. Siri's like here, and it's got a second brain in it that's going to say, yeah, you can tell your user to do it like this, and it does it instantly. But when it wants to act, when you want it to just turn your volume up and down or open an application, it does not need the Gemini coding for that.
Yeah.
It still doesn't right now. So their newer model will be able to do it quicker, faster, and more efficiently than the previous model, and it won't need Gemini to do it. If you ask it to open a non-native app like Google Photos or something like that, it will still do that.
You're going to take
but
this
then immediately
off the screen
revert.
so I can actually see you instead of this WDC 26.
Sorry, I forgot to put it back. Why didn't you say something?
Well, I thought maybe you were going somewhere with it. I'm like, why is he just, I don't want to look at the screen forever here.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing. You know, maybe I'll just put a picture of a puppy when I'll edit a picture of a puppy over that. Licking ice cream. Right.
Yeah.
No, sorry, there's another special effect I'm going to have to do now because I said it. Okay, no more smoke though. That one was too hard to do. Anywho, I'm kind of happy about the thing because again, even though Google's involved in this and giving this it's still competition.
Yeah.
Competition means Google has to do better in what it allows us to do with our phones because there's still limitations on what I can get Gemini to do in this. So full agentic capabilities will make this better. And I think we're going to have that coming up real soon. And I'm going to be happy about it. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that we're getting a little bit long in the tooth on this one because haven't done this in a while. So unless you've got a lot that you want on your mind that you want to talk about,
I mean,
this might be a shorter one.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, no, I just wanted to cover the key topics. Obviously, you were sick last week, so we couldn't get one out last week. But glad you're feeling better now. And
thank you very much.
But yeah, it's just like you say, coming into Google I.O, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens 2 to 3 weeks before the actual I.O event with OpenAI. We'll have to see how fast they move.
It's going to be a great 2 months. Yeah. Because within that 2 months, all three companies we will have heard stuff from. We're going to hear from OpenAI. They'll at least give us an idea. I'm pretty sure because they're not going to let themselves fall that far behind. They've been bragging about this. They've put out their new imaging model, which is based predominantly on a model that they are not even releasing yet, which is probably why it's not doing as good a job as it will. So they kind of jumped the gun on it, and I think it was a dumb idea, but it is what it is. And then, of course, Google I.O. and hopefully Gemini 4.0. And then shortly after that, the whole Apple event involved, with Gemini, which they'll probably be mentioning. I imagine they're probably not going to try to insult the hell out of everybody too terribly much and claim that they invented it themselves. And if they do, man, will they get roasted?
Yeah, they will.
The same day, they won't even be over, and they'll be roasted like nobody's business if they do that. If they tell the truth, then people will say, yeah, the Siri model they built on top of it is excellent. If they try to hide it, then people will say, this is not really even Siri. That's what you'll get. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to see it. So between the next couple of weeks and through the middle of June, we're going to see some serious stuff. And I don't know. Have you heard rumors about the new Claude model yet? Or?
No, I haven't. I don't say quite as up on Claude. I mean, everyone's talking about this co-work and, agentic stuff and all that. But I find that, again, I've been trying to simplify things. And I find that the tools I'm using with primarily Gemini is doing everything I need it to do. So just adding one more thing is just a part of my brain that I don't have available.
I hear you.
So
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, because you can literally blow your brain up trying to cover everything that's coming out, this, that. There's so many models, and there's no way to keep it up with it all. This is impossible.
I agree. And there is a lot, especially if you start talking about going into image generation and video generation, and most of these companies have 2, 3, and even some of them 4 models available to choose from at the same time. Kling 3, 4, 4.2. Shut up.
And so, if you're trying AI, just find something that works for you and use it. Don't worry about all this other noise. Once you get comfortable with Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever you're using, then move into something else and learn something new. But don't stress yourself out.
Agreed. You don't have to be a freak like we are and try every single damn one that comes along. I mean, we're basically the kind of people that have more than one active phone. And a phone here and a phone here and more than one camera in the room. We could technically hook up more than one if we want. There's all kinds of things. We like technology. We love it. This is why we're able to actually do what we do, figure stuff out. And one more quick plug for Simple AI Life. If you're having a hard time figuring it out, it bugs you, or you're just not wanting to do it, or your daughter or your son are saying, "Mom, why don't you get with the times and learn this? Learn how to do stuff real easy, real quick." It doesn't have to be intrusive. It doesn't have to get on your nerves. It simply needs to be something that can help you, and you can enjoy that. So, yeah, Simple AI Life, and we can help you.
Yep.
Learn how to use it a lot easier.
Don't forget to hit the old buttons down here, like, subscribe, and we appreciate support on the channel.
Bell icon.
Anything you can do, we appreciate it.
And since we never said it at the beginning of the podcast like we usually do, I am Lionel from Toronto, Canada.
And I am Robert from Nashville, Tennessee. And we'll see you next week. Peace.